The first time the signal was detected, no one believed it came from human space. The waves were too cold, too deliberate, a pattern like a heartbeat, but mechanical. Across the Orion border, alien worlds paused. Something ancient had awakened. 3 days later, the message decoded itself on every listening post in the sector. The transmission wasn't a threat. It was a statement. The first law has been broken. Judgment is coming. No signature. No coordinates. Just that. For the Ketheri Dominion, the ruling alien power in the region, it was impossible. The first law was their oldest code: no civilization shall harm an uplifted species. And they had broken it quietly, believing no one would ever know. Until now. Captain Verten of the Dominion's fleet stared at the decoded signal in disbelief. This is impossible. The humans are dead. Their colonies destroyed centuries ago. His second officer's gills fluttered. Perhaps someone found their remains? Verten's eyes narrowed. Or perhaps we never finished the job. He turned toward the bridge display. In the vast silence of space, somewhere far beyond their reach, something human had spoken. Half a galaxy away, on the edge of a forgotten star, a ship powered by old Earth design stirred from darkness. Dust fell like snow across metal corridors. The engines coughed, groaned, and then roared to life. A red light blinked on the control panel. Awakening protocol, humanity status, dormant, command priority, retribution. Cryopods hissed open one by one. Men and women, pale and shaking, stepped into the cold air. Their eyes burned with confusion and anger. Commander Elias Kane was the first to speak. His voice was rough, unused for decades. Report. The AI responded immediately, calm and familiar. Commander, the first law has been violated. The Ketheri Dominion initiated the extermination of human outposts in Sector 9. Evidence confirms they erased record of the attacks. Primary directive, retaliation. Kane clenched his fists. How long were we asleep? 213 years, Commander. Silence filled the room. 2 centuries gone, and now, the same monsters who tried to erase them had broken their own sacred law. Kane turned toward the viewport. Outside, the stars glimmered coldly, unknowing, distant. Wake the fleet, he said quietly. If they think humanity is gone, let's remind them what that mistake costs. The Ketheri Dominion Council met in secret orbit, high above their capital world. 10 alien leaders sat around a circular table of glass and light. Each one had built their empire on the ashes of conquered species. The humans cannot still exist, hissed Counselor Viator. Their world was burned to dust. And yet, another replied, showing the signal again, something human has spoken. Their language. Their tone. The message aligns with old Terran encryption. Viator slammed a clawed hand on the table. Then find it. I will not let ghosts of a dead species threaten my dominion. But even as they argued, more signals appeared, faint echoes bouncing across the void. Satellites once thought long dead were reawakening. Automated defenses, coded in human logic, powered up after centuries of silence. And on the outer edge of the Orion Arm, a fleet of black ships began to move. No one had seen a human warship in over 200 years. The sight of those sharp, angular silhouettes struck fear into every species who remembered. They were not graceful like alien vessels, they were brutal, functional, built for survival and destruction. And they were coming. Commander Kane stood before the holographic map, showing red zones spreading across alien space. Every system that aided in the extermination, he said, voice cold. We strike first. No mercy for those who broke the first law. His second, Lieutenant Mara Holt, frowned. Sir, we don't know how powerful they've become. 2 centuries is a long time. Kane nodded slowly. Then we'll learn. But one thing hasn't changed, humans adapt. And when you corner humanity... He looked out the viewport again as the first stars stretched into hyperspace. We bite back. The ship's AI flickered to life beside him. Commander, incoming transmission, Kethary frequencies. Kane smiled faintly. Let's hear them. The message was short. A trembling alien voice filled the bridge. To the remnants of humanity, we request peace. Let us talk. Kane's expression hardened. They only talk when they're afraid. He turned to his crew. Prepare the fleet. We're done talking. As the engines roared and the black ships vanished into the stars, the galaxy trembled. Because for the first time in 2 centuries, the most dangerous species in existence was awake, and angry. The stars stretched and bent as the human fleet entered hyperspace. The ship Vigilant Dawn led the formation, black hulls gliding through the void like silent predators. Inside, Commander Elias Kane watched the lights flicker across the bridge. Every heartbeat of the ship reminded him of what they had lost. Earth, Mars, the colonies, billions gone. Humanity had been erased from the galaxy's memory. Until now. Lieutenant Mara Holt stood beside him. Destination locked, sir. The Kethary border outpost at Delta Verin. Small station. No fleet presence. Kane nodded. Perfect for our message. The crew worked in silence. None of them had spoken much since waking. They didn't need to. Every one of them carried the same fire, vengeance mixed with grief. The AI's calm voice broke the quiet. Estimated arrival in 60 seconds. Enemy sensors will detect us immediately. Kane's lips curved into a thin smile. Let them. The Delta Verin station floated peacefully over a pale green world. Inside, alien officers performed their dull routines. To them, humanity was a story told to frighten new recruits, savage beings who burned worlds and tore through armies before being wiped out themselves. But when the first shadow appeared on their radar, laughter turned to panic. Unidentified ships approaching fast, one shouted. Configuration unknown. Unknown, the commander hissed. How unknown? The officer's voice shook. Human design, sir. The command room fell silent. Everyone froze. Before they could react, alarms screamed. The void outside split with blue fire as human ships dropped from hyperspace, black and cold, their hulls marked with faded Earth symbols. The Dominion commander tried to speak, but the comms filled with a single human voice. Calm. Steady. Deadly. This is Commander Elias Kane of the United Terran Fleet. You broke the first law. Now you face the consequence. A second later, the first railgun slug hit. The explosion ripped through the alien station. Fire bloomed in silence. Within minutes, Delta Verin was gone, a cloud of glowing debris drifting in the dark. Back on Vigilant Dawn, the bridge was quiet again. The crew watched the destruction fade on the monitors. Lieutenant Holt whispered. That was fast. Kane nodded. We don't linger. Send the message. The AI transmitted it across every Dominion frequency. A repeating broadcast, simple and clear. Humanity endures. The first law is not forgotten. By the time it reached the Dominion capital, panic had already begun. Worlds near the border went dark, their garrisons vanished. The Ghost Fleet was the name spreading on every network. No one knew where the humans were, only that they struck without warning, then disappeared like smoke. Far from the front, in the Dominion's High Council chamber, chaos ruled. They are ghosts. Viator shouted. They strike from nowhere. We cannot track them. Another counselor slammed the table. Find their base. Mobilize the fleets. But the warlords knew something they would not say aloud. Humanity had always been unpredictable. They could build weapons out of scrap, ships out of wreckage, and victory out of nothing. And now, something worse. They had time. 200 years to prepare, to build, to wait. On the Vigilant Dawn, the humans were already moving to their next target, a weapons platform orbiting a dying sun. Inside the ship's armory, soldiers loaded armor plates and rifles older than any living creature in the galaxy. Some bore the names of ancestors, scrawled by hands now centuries dead. Corporal Rhea Vance tightened her gloves, eyes on a photo taped inside her helmet, a woman and child, both long gone. When she spoke, her voice was cold. "Permission to speak, Commander?" Kane turned to her. "Go ahead. They'll never understand mercy," she said. "They thought they could erase us. Why not show them what real fear is?" Kane studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "They will learn." Hours later, the human fleet arrived near the dying sun. The Dominion platform spotted them too late. Automated defenses tried to lock on, and failed. Human stealth tech had evolved beyond comprehension. The fleet fired in perfect silence. One by one, Dominion satellites blinked out. No signals escaped. No survivors remained. Then, in the aftermath, something unexpected appeared on the sensors, a small escape pod, human-made. Kane's eyes narrowed. "Bring it aboard." When the pod opened, the crew stepped back in shock. Inside was a single cryopod with a glowing label, "Project Orion, do not activate." The AI's tone changed for the first time, almost nervous. "Commander, this project predates our own fleet. It was black-level classified." Kane frowned. "Run a scan." Unable to identify contents, the AI replied. "Stasis field is self-powered. Estimated origin, pre-war Earth." Mara Holt leaned closer. "Sir, could this be one of the last?" Kane's expression darkened. "Or something they didn't want unleashed." Back on the Dominion capital, the panic deepened. Dozens of colonies were silent. Refugee ships fled toward the inner worlds. Every alien broadcast screamed the same thing: humanity has returned. Counselor Viator stood before a burning display. They were supposed to be gone. How did they survive? No one answered. And far away, the humans stood before the cryopod, cold mist swirling around them. Kane whispered, "Open it." The lid hissed, light spilling into the dark bay. Inside lay a human figure, frozen, eyes closed, uniform unfamiliar. On his chest was a symbol no one recognized. The AI's voice trembled. "Commander, the genetic markers match Earth Command. Rank, Admiral." Kane took a slow step forward. "Then this isn't just revenge." He looked at the sleeping man. "It's something much bigger." The Admiral's eyes fluttered open, ancient, full of memory. His first words were quiet, but carried the weight of history. "Who broke the first law?" Kane met his gaze. "The Ketheri Dominion." The old man smiled, not kindly, but with purpose. "Then we finish what they started." And in that moment, humanity's vengeance turned into something far more dangerous, a war for truth. The cryopod hissed open slowly, steam curling into the air. Inside lay a man whose uniform was faded, but whose presence carried authority. His eyes snapped open, and he scanned the bay with immediate awareness. Commander Elias Kane stepped forward. "Admiral, sir, you're awake." "We." The man raised a hand. "Kane, the first law. Tell me, has it been broken?" "Yes," Kane replied. "The Ketheri Dominion attacked our colonies, tried to erase us completely. But we survived." The Admiral nodded slowly, like a man remembering a nightmare he had predicted centuries ago. "Then the galaxy must pay attention. Humanity is awake, and this time, we are not asking for mercy." Lieutenant Mara Holt glanced at Kane. "Sir, do you know who this is?" Kane shook his head. "No. But if the AI is right, he's one of the last original Terran admirals. He survived the purge for a reason. Whatever Project Orion is, he knows." The admiral stood, stretching as though waking from a long sleep. "Project Orion is more than a weapon," he said. "It's a network, a fleet hidden in the void, ships and stations untouched by the Ketheri. Their AI systems are pre-programmed with tactics and strategies from old Earth. And it waits for command." The crew exchanged nervous glances. "A hidden fleet?" 200 years old. The Admiral's eyes burned with quiet intensity. Humanity was erased, yes. But we built contingency plans. Every colony had secret caches, every ship had hidden AI, every soldier was ready to awaken. And now, with you leading the fleet, it's time to activate Project Orion. The AI spoke, calm yet hesitant. Commander Kane, activating Project Orion will reveal human presence across dozens of star systems. It will trigger conflict at a scale the Ketheri cannot predict. Kane's jaw tightened. Then we do it. Every star system they touched, we remind them humanity is still here. Back on the Dominion front, panic was spreading like fire. Every outpost reported strange signals, automated drones activating, unknown ships leaving warp trails, and ghostly transmissions repeating one message. The first law has been violated. Humanity returns. No one could predict where they would strike next. No fleet could track them. And the Dominion realized something terrifying. Humans were no longer predictable. On board Vigilant Dawn, the Admiral moved through the bridge, studying star maps that stretched across centuries-old charts. Delta Verin was just the beginning. We will awaken every hidden fleet, every station. Every world that was a secret human colony will rise again. Kane asked, "Sir, what is the ultimate goal?" "Revenge." The Admiral's gaze hardened. "Revenge is the start. But survival is the purpose." The Ketheri believed they could erase a species. They are wrong. We rebuild, not for them, but for ourselves. And when the galaxy sees what humanity can do, they will remember why the first law exists. Mara Holt's voice was quiet. "But some of our systems are ancient. How will they even work?" The Admiral smiled faintly. "That is why I am here. I know the codes. I know the networks. We awaken them carefully. And when the humans strike, the Dominion will not know what hit them." A sudden alert broke the quiet. Sensors detected a Dominion task force approaching from the neighboring system. Ships much larger than the ones destroyed at Delta Verin. This time, the Ketheri were coming prepared. Kane stood, hand on the rail. "They've learned. They're sending a fleet." The Admiral's expression was calm, almost amused. "Let them come. Every strike they make only exposes more of themselves. Every attack they launch, we will be ready." Project Orion is not just a fleet. It's an intelligence network. Every station, every satellite, every hidden weapon can respond. And every time they fire, it will be counted against them. The AI calculated trajectories and tactical simulations. Probability of human victory, 93%. Initiating countermeasures for fleet engagement. Kane's lips curved into a grim smile. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The human fleet dropped from hyperspace into Dominion space. For a moment, the stars seemed to hold their breath. The Ketheri fleet appeared, huge, precise, deadly. But the humans moved differently. They weren't just attacking. They were ghosts, phantoms. Every ship knew its place, every AI unit anticipated enemy movements before they happened. The first strike hit, not with firepower, but with precision sabotage. Dominion ships went dark as internal systems shut down, shields collapsed, weapons malfunctioned. Ships collided with each other in confusion. Mara Holt watched in awe. "It's like they didn't even know we were here." "No," Kane said quietly. "They do know now. And it terrifies them." From the shadows of the fleet, the Admiral spoke. "Activate Project Orion fully. Let the galaxy remember the humans they tried to destroy." In seconds, dozens of stations lit up, weapon systems powered, AI networks came alive, all responding to human commands. It was more than a fleet now. It was an empire resurrected from ashes, ready to strike with lethal precision. In the Dominion capital, alarms screamed. Counselor Viator slammed a clawed hand against the console. "They are everywhere. How is this possible?" A young officer stammered. "Sir, We cannot track them. Every sensor fails. Their attacks are coordinated, too fast, too precise. Viator's eyes burned with fury. Then send more fleets. Burn their systems. Wipe out humanity once and for all. But even as he shouted, deep in the void, the humans moved like shadows, preparing to strike again. Kane turned to the Admiral. "Sir, what's next?" The Admiral looked toward the stars, his eyes reflecting centuries of memory and purpose. "Next, we remind the galaxy that humans do not forgive. And we make sure no one ever breaks the first law again." Outside, the stars shimmered. The void itself seemed to tremble. Humanity was awake. Humanity was coming. And nothing would ever be the same. The human fleet moved like shadows through the Ketheri sector, silent but lethal. Systems that had once been lost were suddenly alive again. Hidden colonies, long erased from galactic maps, blinked back into existence. Commander Kane watched the reports on the bridge of Vigilant Dawn. Each alert carried the same signature: human-made AI systems activating, colonists waking from cryo-sleep, and defensive platforms powering up. Lieutenant Mara Holt leaned over the console. "Sir, it's working. Every colony we've prepared for centuries is coming online. The Dominion won't know what hit them." Kane's eyes narrowed. Not just the Dominion. Every species that profited from humanity's fall will remember why the first law exists. On the outer rim of the Orion Arm, the first human colony station hummed with life. Cryopods hissed, revealing men and women who had slept through centuries. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, all awoke to a galaxy that had forgotten them. A young engineer named Jace Torrin stepped out, blinking. Where am I?" "You're home," a voice said. It was the AI interface, calm and familiar. "The galaxy is at war. Humanity awakens." Torrin's jaw dropped. "War? After 200 years?" "Yes," the AI replied. "And your skills will be needed. The Ketheri Dominion has violated the first law, and humanity will respond." He looked outside the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly, and in the darkness, human ships glimmered like black fire. Then let's remind them why humans survive. The Ketheri Dominion was already feeling the shock. Reports streamed into the High Council chamber. Hidden colonies were reactivating, previously unknown fleets were appearing, and automated defense platforms fired at Dominion patrols without mercy. Counselor Viator slammed a clawed hand on the console. "Impossible! How did they survive?" Another counselor whispered. "They were preparing, for centuries. We never thought they would awaken all at once." Viator's eyes burned with fury. "Then we crush them before they awaken more. Mobilize the fleets. Strike every system that may harbor them." But the Dominion was already behind. Every human station, every AI-controlled ship, acted in perfect synchronization. It was as if the galaxy itself remembered the humans, and obeyed. On board the flagship, Kane watched the maps flicker with activity. Each colony that came online added strength to their fleet. Ships, weapons, and soldiers long forgotten were now a single, unstoppable network. The Admiral from Project Orion moved among the crew, calm and commanding. "Every system you see is not just defense. They are factories, armories, and war machines. Every human who awakens is a soldier. And every soldier fights for survival and justice." Mara Holt asked quietly, "Sir, what about civilians? Aren't their innocent lives at risk?" The Admiral's gaze hardened. The first law was meant to protect the innocent. The Ketheri broke that law. We are not reckless, but we are resolute. Justice does not wait for comfort. A transmission arrived from the outermost colony. Jace Torrin had taken command of a squad of engineers and soldiers. "Commander Kane," he said through the comms, "we've activated the orbital defenses around the colony. The Dominion patrol fleet is approaching, but our drones are ready. They don't know we exist yet." Kane's voice was steady. "Good work. Hold your position until the fleet arrives. Then strike hard and fast. The AI added, all activated colonies are now linked. Every fleet, every station, every weapon platform responds to human command. Probability of successful defense, 97%. Kane allowed himself a small smile. Then it begins. As the Dominion fleet approached, their sensors detected faint signals. It looked like a single human colony, small and weak. But when their first ships fired, automated defenses struck back with deadly precision. Missiles were intercepted, lasers redirected, engines sabotaged from within. A Dominion commander shouted in disbelief. They are ghosts. They are everywhere at once. How is this possible? Viator's eyes blazed. Stop them. Do not let them gain momentum. But momentum was already unstoppable. Human fleets, hidden for centuries, moved as one. Ships warped in from different points, striking from angles the Dominion could not anticipate. Every attack weakened their coordination, and every failed maneuver brought confusion. On Vigilant Dawn, Kane watched the battle unfold through holographic displays. Colonies that had been abandoned for generations now provided fire support, supplies, and reinforcements. The humans were no longer a fleet. They were an army, an awakening. The admiral spoke quietly, almost to himself. The Ketheri believed the first law was a shield. They were wrong. It is a warning. And now, every world they thought they had conquered must pay attention. Kane turned to him. What's our next move? The admiral's eyes glinted. We awaken the remaining colonies. Every hidden system, every forgotten human outpost, will rise. The Dominion will see not just revenge, but the return of humanity's legacy. Outside the ship, stars blazed as human ships slipped through the void. The galaxy had forgotten them, but no one would ever forget again. And in that darkness, humanity whispered across the void. We are awake. We remember. We are coming. The Dominion was trembling. Reports streamed into the High Council. Human fleets had struck not one, but dozens of systems. Hidden colonies rose like a tidal wave, and every attack seemed perfectly coordinated. Counselor Viator slammed his clawed hand against the table. Impossible! How can a species that was erased strike so precisely? Another counselor whispered fearfully. They were preparing. They waited for centuries. But why now? Viator's eyes narrowed. Find the reason. I want every secret the humans have kept hidden. And if they have weapons, destroy them before they can fire. But the Dominion had underestimated one crucial fact. Humanity had learned patience. And patience had turned into power. On board Vigilant Dawn, Commander Kane and the Admiral studied holographic star charts. Red dots marked Dominion fleets, blue represented human outposts. Every red dot was a target. Every blue dot was now alive. Sir, Mara Holt said, pointing at a distant system, sensors are picking up something unusual. A Ketheri research station, heavily shielded. Energy readings off the charts. The Admiral's expression darkened. That is the core of their violation. Whatever they were doing there broke the first law. We need to know the truth. And we will stop it. Kane's jaw tightened. Then we go there. We strike fast, but we must be ready for anything. The AI flickered. Probability of mission success, 78%. Warning, high defensive capability. Unknown variables present. Kane nodded. Prepare the fleet. This ends soon. The Ketheri station loomed like a fortress in the void. Energy shields pulsed, a pale blue glow across its jagged surface. Automated defense turrets rotated slowly, waiting. Inside, Counselor Viator's engineers were panicking. The humans are coming. We cannot stop them. Viator's eyes blazed. They will not touch the first law core. It is our ultimate weapon, our final control over the galaxy. One of the engineers hesitated. Sir, it's not a weapon like before. The first law core. It manipulates life itself. Any species it targets can be eradicated or controlled. It is why the humans survived. Viator's expression hardened. Then we use it before they arrive. Humanity must pay. The human fleet arrived outside the station. Ships moved in formation, every maneuver precise. Human drones scouted ahead, bypassing turrets and shields with perfect timing. Kane addressed the Admiral. "Are you ready?" The Admiral's voice was calm, almost serene. Ready to remind the galaxy that the first law protects the innocent and punishes those who break it. This station will fall, and the Ketheri will see the consequences of their crimes. As the fleet advanced, the first volley of plasma and railgun fire hit. Dominion defenses flared to life, but humans were already inside the station's perimeter. Drones disabled systems silently. Ships sliced through shields with surgical precision. Dominion officers panicked as alarms blared. Inside the station, the first law core hummed with power. A sphere of glowing energy floated in the center chamber, surrounded by machinery beyond comprehension. Vader screamed at his engineers. "Protect the core. Do not let them touch it." But the humans were already there. Kane led a boarding team, moving through corridors with quiet efficiency. Mara Holt followed, rifle ready. The AI whispered through comms, all defense systems neutralized. Path to core open. They reached the chamber. The sphere pulsed like a heartbeat. Energy arcs danced across its surface. Kane stepped forward, hand trembling slightly. The Admiral spoke, voice low but commanding. "This is what they feared most. But the core belongs to no one. Humanity will decide its fate." With a wave of his hand, the Admiral activated the core's override. Machines hummed, screens flickered, and Dominion engineers screamed as their systems shut down. Energy arcs discharged harmlessly into containment fields. Viator's voice trembled. "No. This cannot be. They." Kane turned toward him. "You forgot one thing. Humanity adapts. Humanity survives. And humanity remembers." The core's energy stabilized, now under human control. Every hidden human fleet, every AI station, and every awakened colony responded instantly. The Dominion's advantage vanished. The Admiral stepped forward. "Now we strike. Not just for revenge, but for justice. Every species that benefited from the violation of the first law will see our power. Every world that hides crimes will remember the humans they thought were gone." Outside the station, human ships unleashed coordinated attacks. Ketheri fleets were caught in perfect ambushes, systems failing one by one. Dominion soldiers could not respond to a force that had learned patience over centuries. The Admiral's voice echoed in Kane's mind, "We do not fight for conquest. We fight for survival. We fight for those who cannot defend themselves. The first law must be remembered." As the station's shields collapsed, the core's energy radiated outward. Dominion ships were disabled, and the first law core was now a weapon of protection, not domination. Kane looked out at the stars. The galaxy trembled under the return of humanity. Centuries of survival, planning, and quiet vengeance had culminated in this moment. The humans had awakened. They had claimed justice. And the Ketheri would never forget it. The galaxy held its breath. Across the stars, human fleets moved like shadows, unstoppable and precise. Hidden colonies, stations and ships, all awakened, all connected, all ready. Commander Kane stood on the bridge of Vigilant Dawn, eyes scanning the galaxy ahead. Red dots marked the Ketheri fleets, but blue dots, human forces, far outnumbered them. The balance had shifted. The Admiral from Project Orion stepped beside him. "This is the final battle. Everything we've prepared for centuries, it comes to this moment." Kane nodded. "Then let's remind them who humanity is." The Ketheri, desperate and furious, launched their fleets from every corner of their empire. Battleships, war stations, and fighter swarms surged toward the human forces. Yet, every move was anticipated. Every strike was countered. Human AI networks predicted Dominion tactics before they happened. Human fleets struck weak points with surgical precision. Hidden colonies fired from unexpected positions. It was as if the galaxy itself had joined humanity in vengeance. Mara Holt shouted, "They're falling back. Every fleet we hit. They're retreating." Kane's lips curved into a grim smile. "Good. Let them see what patience can build." 2 centuries, and now they face the result. The Admiral activated Project Orion fully. A network of stations and ships, once hidden and dormant, glowed with energy across dozens of star systems. Ancient weapons, AI war machines, and human fleets all responded instantly to a single command. The Dominion commanders panicked. Sensors failed, communications jammed, and every strike they launched rebounded against them. Ships collided, stations went dark, and the Ketheri were helpless. The Admiral's voice echoed across the fleet. "Today, the first law is remembered. Today, the galaxy sees the price of violation." On the front lines, human forces engaged Dominion fleets directly. Railguns, plasma cannons, and AI-guided missiles struck with deadly precision. Dominion ships were disabled faster than they could react. Pilots fled, systems failed, and the myth of Ketheri invincibility crumbled. Kane watched from the bridge, heart steady. He saw familiar faces in the holographic feed, awakened soldiers, engineers, scientists, all fighting for justice and survival. The humans were not just winning. They were reshaping the galaxy. Mara Holt leaned on the console, eyes wide. "It's beautiful and terrifying." Kane nodded. This is what happens when a species refuses to die. Deep in the Dominion capital, Counselor Viator screamed orders that no one could follow. His fleets were crumbling, stations were falling, and the First Law Corps, the weapon he had depended on, now pulsed under human control. One of his officers whispered fearfully, "Sir, it's finished. Humanity, they cannot be stopped." Viator slammed his hand down. "Then we die like cowards." But humanity did not seek vengeance for vengeance alone. The Admiral addressed the galaxy through every frequency, every network. "The first law exists to protect the innocent. Any who break it will face the consequences. Humanity does not forgive lightly. Humanity does not forget. But humanity also does not destroy without reason. This is justice. This is survival. This is the return of those who were thought lost." The final battle unfolded over the Ketheri homeworld. Fleets clashed in the void, but Dominion forces could not withstand the combined might of awakened human colonies, Project Orion fleets, and AI-coordinated weapons. Kane led the charge personally. Vigilant dawn cut through the enemy lines, shields glowing, weapons blazing. Mara Holt fired beside him. Every human ship moved with purpose, every strike calculated, every victory decisive. At last, the Dominion's flagship fell. Viator, defeated and captured, faced Kane on the bridge of the human ship. You cannot win," Viator spat. "Humans are weak. We control the galaxy." Kane's eyes were cold. "You broke the first law. That was your choice. Humanity remembers, and humanity survives. That is power you cannot take away." The Admiral stepped forward. "Let this be a lesson for every species. Justice cannot be erased. The first law protects life, and any who violate it will face the consequence." Across the galaxy, signals of victory spread. Human colonies were secure. Dominion fleets surrendered. AI systems, once hidden, now patrolled the stars, ensuring the first law was respected. Kane looked at the stars through the viewport. "It's done. Humanity has returned." The Admiral smiled faintly. "Not just returned. Humanity has awakened. The galaxy will never forget it again." Mara Holt whispered, "What now?" Kane's eyes were steady, reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. "Now, we rebuild. We protect. And we make sure the first law is never broken again." Outside, the stars shimmered. Ships moved across space, rebuilding colonies, aiding survivors, and asserting the quiet power of humanity. For centuries, the galaxy had forgotten them. Now, humanity had returned, stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. And the first law would never be violated again.